You guys, come here. You gotta see this. This is the cutest thing. We've got baby zebra skinks. Hi folks, I'm Rachel. Welcome back to Java's Reptile Room. Today I'm going to tell you about the top 5 things you need to know before getting Kenyan zebra skinks, as well as introducing you to my 2 pairs and the new babies that were just born a few days ago. And you can see one of the babies is right back there. Looks bigger on camera than it actually is. It's quite tiny. There's always one in the bunch that's braver than the rest, and that is this little guy, little explorer here. Oh, there's another one. But as you can see, even as babies, they are quite calm. And if you go slow with them, they won't mind climbing up on you at all. Come here, little baby. Oop. Well, he's going to make a liar out of me, of course, but they are quite social. So what do you need to know about Kenyan zebra skinks? Hey guys, future Rachel here, breaking in for a quick and very exciting announcement. So as you may have noticed, this week's video is a little bit late, like 3 weeks late. I held off on posting it so that I could make this announcement. Sorry for the wait, but I promise it'll be worth it. So number 1, I will be on Daffy's Roundtable podcast this Saturday. That is the 6th. That would be June 6th, this Saturday. It's going to air, so please tune in. I'll probably share a link to it on my channel as well. And secondly, extremely exciting news. 2 of the Kenyan zebra skinks that I produced earlier this year in February are now on exhibit at Reptilandia in Texas. I can't even describe how exciting this is and how this makes me feel. I have watched this place grow from its early beginnings. I followed them when they were just building, and now it's this incredible, beautiful place that's breaking all kinds of boundaries, and 2 of my babies are there. So stay tuned at the end of the video for a little bit of footage of my 2 little ones in their new huge exhibit enclosure. Well, as their name suggests, Kenyan zebra skinks come from, you guessed it, Kenya. They are also native to Tanzania, and those are their 2 primary areas. This right here is my female, one of my females, and you can see a baby right back there with her. And this is the male. As you can see, they are sexually dimorphic. The females do darken with age as well, but they retain some of the striping that they're born with. And the males will eventually completely lose the striping and be a reddish, rusty color with a very dark back. I'll show you even better with my older pair in a moment here. So this little female here is Millie. And then Mr. Man over here is Mushu. You can see one of the babies right there with mom. Oh, there he goes. They do start out fairly skittish. However, they calm down, and if you work with them, they are wonderful little guys. This pair unfortunately wasn't worked with very much by their previous keepers, so they are pretty skittish, but they're coming around to me, so that's good. My other pair that I had since they were little is super social with me, so I'll show you those guys in a minute here. Hey, Mushu, you gonna bite me? You gonna bite me? Hey, buddy. Mushu especially is coming around. Yes. Oh, what a good boy. So number 5, temperature and humidity requirements. So let's talk about temperature and humidity. So their natural habitat is going to be fairly dry. They're going to inhabit some sparse forest areas, some dry savannas, and also some rocky areas. Oh, there's a little baby poking his head out. Oh, he's almost like he knew he was on camera. Whoops. Sorry, guys. Close-up camera work is hard. There's a little cutie. There's always one in the bunch that's the most adventurous, and I think that's one of these two right here. There are 4 altogether, by the way. 4 new babies. Their basking area should be quite hot. We're talking about 110 to 115 degrees. Some folks, you'll find care guides that might say like 98 to 100 degrees, and yes, they can live, and they can do fine at that temperature. However, in order to breed and really thrive, they need the higher temperature. They need it about 110 to 115. And you'll see them basking quite a lot. They love to bask. They love to be in the sun. They are diurnal. Number 4, what do they eat? So Kenyan zebra skinks are primarily insectivores. However, they will eat some other things like greens, fruits, crested gecko diet, other things like along those lines, like bluey buffet, things like that for some extra food enrichment. I haven't had much luck getting mine to eat greens, but you're welcome to try. But for the most part, mine have just kind of turned up their nose at them. Now, bugs, on the other hand, they love. Oh, babies will eat small crickets, small dubia, and small mealworms. As you can see, they love it. And I will supplement them with some other foods as well, so that mom and dad have plenty to eat, because these tiny crickets are mostly for the babies. But I will go through and tong feed mom and dad some larger dubia, super worms, things like that. They also, I found, love banana as a treat. And I like giving banana shortly after the female gives birth. They are live bearers, FYI, if you didn't know. They are live bearers, like a lot of skinks are. So after mom gives birth, the next day or so, when she's ready to eat again, I'll oftentimes give her some banana dusted heavily with Repashy Calcium Plus, and give her kind of a boost of fat and calcium after all the hard work that she just did. Number 3, humidity. Even though they are a fairly dry, arid species, they do require a decent amount of humidity in order to shed properly. So I do spray once a day. And you'll notice, you'll usually see when they're shedding, it kind of looks like their skin's just exploding off of them. And when I see that, I will spray extra as well. If you notice any stuck shed on the animal, you usually see it like at the base of the tail, sometimes around the feet. I will start by spraying the cage down again, making it a little bit damper, and see if they get that off within the next 12 hours or so. If they don't, then I will soak them. They hate soaks. They hate being in water. So I do my best to only do that when I absolutely have to, and to keep their humidity up. They are actually a really good candidate for bioactive. I just don't do bioactive because the babies will eat all of the cleanup crew. So if you're breeding, I wouldn't recommend using a cleanup crew because you're going to lose them all. But if you want to put some plants in there, have at it. They'll enjoy it. So along with humidity, let's talk briefly about substrate and decor. And for that, let me show you my other pair, since they are much more friendly and will come out and play with us. Over here, who wants attention? Yes, hello. Hello. We will talk about you another time. So these are my little buddies, Meek and Mazu. Meek is the male here on top. You can see he's got that rusty red coloration. And then here's Mazu. She is much darker than my younger female, as you can see, but you still see the striping on her underside there. You can see how much more inquisitive and curious they are than the other pair. So let's talk about substrate and decor. They need to be able to burrow. They're not heavy burrowers, but they do burrow to sleep, especially. And sometimes they'll burrow during the hottest part of the day. So they need something to be able to burrow in. I like using either cocoa chip, or like this here, or I like using cypress, pure cypress, no additives like I have in the other. I like using both of those because babies tend to put lots of things in their mouths. So I want to use stuff that is large enough that they won't be able to ingest it. Come here, Meek. Hi. You see how keyed into movement they are? Hi. They are ready to eat. Always ready to eat. Mr. Meek. They also enjoy climbing. They are classified as semi-arboreal. However, I wouldn't go that far. They're not good climbers, but they do like to climb. So I usually give them something like a tall basking structure or something to climb up on, and something not too high so that if they should fall, they won't hurt themselves. As you can see, Meek and Mazu are quite fond of each other. They do form very strong family bonds, which is one of the most fun things about them, which we will talk about in our next point. Number 2, they are communal with some caveats and form very strong family bonds. So I've got my little buddy Meek here with me now. I call him my little adventure buddy. He's always up for anything. He would sit on my shoulder for hours if I let him. I've taken him to events, to school presentations, to festivals, and he's just happy to sit. Now, don't take your lizard to a festival on the whole. You could lose them. But, do as I say, not as I do, right? So let's talk about their family bonds. In the wild, they do live in family groups. So the male and female will live together pretty much monogamously. The male will find other mates from time to time, but pretty much the two of them will just stay together, and their offspring will live with them for typically 2 to 3 months, and then they'll disperse. Some have been found living in larger groups, but on the whole, it seems that the babies do disperse and form their own groups after a while. And that is something important to remember when you are keeping a pair together and they breed. Where are you going, my man? Where are you going? Yes, he is missing the tip of his tail. It grows back. Don't worry. If you are keeping a pair together and they breed, it's important to remember to remove the babies after about 2 months. Now, the babies would be fine staying with the parents, and the parents wouldn't really care until any male babies got to be a little bit more mature. Then dad would, right on cue, then dad would probably run them off. But the problem is that the older babies, the juveniles, will often prey on the babies, the newborn babies. They don't, thanks for climbing on my microphone, man. They do grow out of that. As they get older, they won't attack their own babies, nor will they attack other couples' babies. But as young ones themselves, they see a food source. So it's got to be some sort of a hormonal switch that happens as they age. Don't know for sure, but it would be something really interesting to look into as time goes on. And the number one thing that you should know about Kenyan zebra skinks before getting any is just how incredibly social and fun they are. If you work with them, they come around real quickly, and they remind me a lot of Clint's reptiles and his emerald tree skinks. Like this little guy, he will often just jump out of the cage right onto me and just be ready to go. Hey, buddy, I just felt him claw his way all around my back. Slightly tickly. Mm-hmm. I call him my little adventure buddy. Like I said, he is always up for anything. And the female is wonderful as well. I have noticed that the males tend to be a little bit more outgoing, a little bit more friendly and calm with people. But the females do great as well. But if you're looking for just one to keep as a pet, I would recommend personally keeping a male because they are just typically a little bit sweeter. Once they're socialized, they really are just lovely little things. Mazu is very close, I think, to having her litter. I'm guessing 1 to 2 weeks. But she's definitely rounding out. Yeah, she's a sweet girl. They are just such a rewarding species. They're so smart, they're so interactive, so friendly. Look at that belly. You got the babies in that belly, huh? You got the babies in that belly. Yeah. So lastly, I will actually have several of these little cuties up and ready for their new homes in September at the Fredericksburg, Virginia All-American Reptile and Plant Expo. So if you're going to be there, come on by my booth. It'll be Jabba's Reptile Room, and you can, where are we going, sir? And you can get 1 or 2 or 10 of these little guys for yourself. Lastly, because I said 1 or 2 or 10, reminded myself, trios, 1 male and 2 females, they can work. However, it's usually one of those things where it works really well until it doesn't. And it's never the male. It's one of the females gets competitive with the other, and they'll start fighting. So in general, it's better just to keep a pair and keep them with their babies for a couple months and then separate. And of course, if you don't want to breed, or if you want to give the female a break, which is always a good idea, separate them for a few months, or permanently if you need to. 2 females on their own can often live together, but again, be careful, watch for territorial displays, and just do your research before you do it. Don't take this as the only form of care advice for Kenyan zebra skinks. All right, little buddy, I think it's time we say goodbye. Well, Meek wants to remind everyone to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and please share. We'll see you next time. Hey folks, future Rachel here, back again. Just wanted to remind you to stay tuned, because you're about to see 2 adorable little zebra skinks that were born in February go into their new amazing mansion at Reptilandia.